Hey, what's up, guys? I want to thank you, as always, for stopping by the channel. We had Anna come out in theaters this weekend, starring Sasha Luss in her breakout role. This film is written and directed by Luc Besson, who's known for such films in the genre as The Professional, Lucy, and La Femme Nikita. Luke Evans, Helen, Mirren, and Cillian Murphy fill out the cast in this story that centers around this young woman that becomes a top government assassin for the KGB. Her skills speak for themselves, but this torment from her past and a desire for freedom are going to be a constant for her, as she is just secretly angling to pave a life for herself that she can finally call her own. Now, personally, I tend to think that espionage and action storylines are kind of built for retelling. You add a slight few tweaks to the story here and there with some minor changes to character layers, and you can get some huge differences in a narrative that from all outside appearances just kind of fits into that genre formula. And when you add some appealing international locations, some government secrecy, and some stylish edginess, and a splash of sex appeal, and I think the world that it creates is one that at least I can be pulled into from time to time. I think this film certainly doesn't break that espionage assassin genre template, but I think it was still a very entertaining film, primarily because of the added elements that are woven into this story of a woman being semi-forced into this world of agency spies and violence. The progression of the story is much like others that we have all seen in this genre before, but there was kind of an organization to it that made it feel a little bit fresh while still feeling familiar at the same time. I think the twists and turns that this story did show some thought. The layers of the plot line were interesting. Things really did tie in together nicely, and I thought the result was a complete storyline that just didn't really have large gaps or inconsistencies. I think the non-linear approach to the flow may be a little bit of a hindrance to some people, but for me at least, I thought it was able to keep the intrigue high, because when the story would jump from time to time, there was admittedly a slight unevenness to the flow of things that I think might be a hiccup for people just being able to get into the flow of all these events and how they tie in. However, I do think that each jump in the timeline would fill in some valuable bits of information that were able to keep the overall plot line moving forward, and I appreciated that. I think some films in this genre tend to tack on some twists and efforts at misdirection, but a lot of it ends up feeling kind of convoluted by just being developed too late in the story, like a movie for Atomic Blonde, for instance. But this one, yes, it's going to feel a little bit scattered to some in its progression, but there's never a lack of intention in where it wanted to go and how it wanted to tell itself, and for that I thought everything came together nicely with a natural feel that didn't result in a lot of plot holes. I think the characters were developed nicely as well, and it all creates an appealing world for the viewer to immerse themselves in. I thought the performances were all great for the needs of their roles, and more specifically, I thought the casting choices themselves were perfect. I think Sasha Luss really carries the film in her first lead role. She was able to create some strong, sincere, emotional layers. When the story needed some vulnerability, I thought she was able to capture it. When the character needed intensity and extreme capability, I thought she brought that as well, and I thought she was absolutely amazing in the action sequences. You can see that she just put in a ton of physical work to make these fight sequences look legit, and just seeing her glide through this choreography with a relentless ferocity just naturally made me root for her character to succeed. Helen Mirren, as she always is, was fantastic. This time as a KGB operator, I thought she completely sold the heartlessness of the character with just a subtle grace that was kind of intimidating. It was darkly comical and at times kind of heartfelt and sincere. I thought she commanded the screen with each scene, and she was all you could ask for in this movie. I think both Luke Evans and Cillian Murphy certainly took on some routine plug-and-play character types, but I think with their delivery and just their screen presence alone, they certainly did elevate the material. I thought they really did bring some of their own personality traits into the characters, as did Mirren, and I think altogether with Luss, it was a great group of performances for the needs of this story. They carried along a tightly written script with fun splashes of charm, and it was a good time. Luc Besson's direction was very crisp in this one. The fight sequences and the car chases are a good time to watch, and with a nice use of editing, it creates a lot of constant visual angles that are very appealing and not that choppy feeling that many of these current day action movies deliver us. I think the international locations are certainly nicely framed in the backdrop of scenes, and with a reliance on some cool practical effects, there was just a subtly grounded vibe to all the over-the-top violence. So I'm going to give Anna a solid 80% on the entertainment meter. It gave me pretty much what I was expecting. This film does follow a lot of tropes in the genre, but it was still very entertaining for what it was. There's a nice balance of story, action, and character development to maintain the interest for the viewer. It's stylish, it's vibrant, but certainly not a case of style over substance. Now, for today's My Silver Screen recommendations, I'm going to be selecting the fantastic Korean film called The Villainess from 2017, Haywire starring Gina Carano, and Luc Besson's classic La Femme Nikita, three films that all center around female assassins. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, drop it a thumbs up, leave a comment below. I'd love to talk movies with you guys. Share it with your friends, and without question, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can never miss a video. Here are some links to some recent reviews just in case you missed them. All my social media links and the link to our official website are down in the description below, and I'll catch you next time.